It is important for us to remember that this month, 4 men were killed in a faraway land trying to protect you, me, and our families. They are 25-year-old LaDavid Johnson from Miami Gardens, Florida, 35-year-old Brian Black from Puyallup, Washington, 39-year-old Jeremiah Johnson from Springsboro, Ohio, and 29-year-old Dustin Wright from Lyons, Georgia. It is important for us to remember because for so many, it seems to be an afterthought, including our president. Our 4 Green Berets were ambushed and killed in a village in Niger by 50 ISIS militants on October 4th. At the White House, the president was briefed immediately, and then the president said nothing. But for the next 12 days, the president wrote over 80 tweets promoting his appearance on Fox News, promoting his son Eric's appearance on Fox News, blasting the New York Times, NBC, and fake news, blasting an ESPN commentator, blasting a Republican Senator, Bob Corker, and unfunny late-night talk show hosts. But the president had a lot to say about a lot of things, but he chose not to comment on 4 Americans who gave their lives protecting America. The president did take time to criticize NFL players for kneeling during the national anthem. He even praised Vice President Mike Pence for walking out of an NFL game when the players disrespected the flag and the sacrifice it represents. But on that very same day, the mourning mothers and wives of the 4 men killed in Niger were standing at grave sites accepting the folded flag of a grateful nation. The president ignored them. It wasn't until October 16th that the president finally publicly acknowledged the sacrifices of Sergeants Johnson, Black, Johnson, and Wright. And that's when he was asked at a news conference about his strange silence.
I've written them personal letters. They've been sent or they're going out tonight, but they were written during the weekend. I will, at some point during the period of time, call the parents and the families, because I have done that traditionally. I felt very, very badly about that. I always feel badly. It's the toughest calls I have to make are the calls where this happens. Soldiers are killed.
Gee, I'm sorry it's so tough on you. Imagine what it's like for the families. The president then insinuated that he's done more in these situations than any other president in history. I guess President Trump never saw this video of President Obama saluting as flag-draped coffins were wheeled off a transport plane at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware. Now, once, when President Obama callously sent out form letters to the families of 30 Navy SEALs killed in Afghanistan, then candidate Trump criticized President Obama in a tweet asking if he was too busy playing golf. And yet, when the bodies of the 4 men killed in Niger arrived at Dover Air Base in Delaware, President Trump was playing golf in Bedminster, New Jersey with Lindsey Graham. This is a snub that we should all find offensive. Democrats and Republicans, conservatives and liberals and everything in between. This president who wraps himself in the flag claims that he does more for veterans than any president in history and criticizes others for disrespecting the flag that symbolizes the sacrifice of servicemen and servicewomen needs to be called out for dereliction of the most sacred duty of the commander-in-chief. In fact, his behavior is so counterintuitive, there must be something else going on. Perhaps it's because we're not officially supposed to be in Niger, or that the Pentagon approved the mission as being low risk. And that's why the men weren't transported in armored vehicles, and they weren't heavily armed, and there wasn't U.S. air support anywhere nearby. In fact, there are many similarities between what happened in Niger and another terrorist ambush that killed 4 Americans in Africa. And maybe that's why the president was silent for so long. He doesn't want what happened in Niger to be his Benghazi. The Pentagon has already announced that they are investigating the mission to find out what went wrong. And the press corps in Washington needs to be vigilant and demand answers, because the families of LaDavid Johnson, Brian Black, Jeremiah Johnson, and Dustin Wright deserve that. They deserve answers. I'm Larry Mendte. I'll see you next week.